Australia.
Australia. Okay, 19. And
Yeah.
that's where I got 14, 45, 44 was.
Yeah. 14, 44,
Right.
44. Yeah. I guess first with my
14,
lucky
40.
number.
Yes, yes, I saw that. That's fantastic. I think we are live.
Oh, great.
Yeah, looks like we're live. And probably how do we know? I'm just trying to understand how do we know that people have joined in? Is there a place? Maybe our host in the backstage can help us with that.
I hope.
Yes, you were. Says you're there. Yes. Okay. I'm assuming we are live now. Good evening, Aarthi. Welcome to the mental wellness month of May that we are. We're recognizing mental wellness. We are speaking to athletes to understand how they feel about this whole unpredictability. How are they coping? What is their mechanism? What they cope? And today, it's brilliant to have another woman, another accomplished triathlete, uh, and it's so good to have you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, actually.
How are you feeling? How is Chennai?
Chennai, I mean, I guess you guys would have read from the news, pretty badly hit. So just doing our bit of whatever we can give back to the community, just helping fellow family members. I've lost a few of them in the second wave, so it's been emotionally draining as well. But then, as everybody says, life goes on. So yeah, focusing on positivity and seeing what all we can do sitting at home. It's sometimes very frustrating that your loved one is no more and you can't even be there for the family to hug them or console them. So yeah, pretty much overall, I think as Indians we are going through uh, I would say a bad phase. I think we'll all come out of it stronger.
Absolutely, we are going to come positive. And the best part about being an athlete is the kind of resilience that we have. How much we learn from our bad days, right? We never give up, and we say, "Hey, one bad day is going to pave way for something better that's going to come. We're going to learn that," and that's so
Absolutely.
innate about an athlete per se. It just comes so.
Naturally for us.
Sorry.
I said naturally for us.
Yes, it comes naturally for us. We're able to put our chin up and say, hey, this is also going to pass. And
Yeah.
with the situation, that's what we are all saying, that it is going to pass. But having said that, see, being an ultra runner, I know the kind of times that we go out for a run, plus we add strength, and we add flexibility to keep that ratio. You take us through how it is to lead a triathlete's life, having brick, having strength, having flexibility.
I guess as triathlete, we are a little crazy on that side. It's not that we pick one sport; we decide to do three sport, and nutrition being the fourth discipline for most of the triathlete. And of course, I make sure me and my trainees we have 3 sessions of strength and conditioning. I mean, before lockdown, things were picture perfect. Everybody was staying outdoors. You had group rides and stuffs like that. But 2020 has kind of put all that in the back burner and said, okay, focus. Start training indoor. And it was really tough initially. The first wave was something. Was very difficult for all of us to even come to terms saying, okay, what do I do indoors? I can't go to the pool. I mean, I didn't have a trainer then. So cycling workouts were very hard. Then I had to kind of sneak in a trainer. Just bought my felt bike then. So yeah, things were a little hard during the first wave. Second wave pretty much is more emotionally now more than the training side of it because it kind of gave us a teaser. I would say the first wave in 2020 kind of put us all indoors training and things like that. The second wave, I wouldn't say it's affected much on the training side, but emotionally, mentally, yes, it has affected a lot of us.
So take us through your ideal day now with the second lockdown, the second wave, or rather, I would say, take us through your ideal weekday training. What do you do on what days? How does it look like for Aarti?
Okay, so for me, since I don't have swim now, So the primary focus is more on the bike, which I personally feel is something that I have to work upon. My runs are decent, my swims are decent. So bike is in a triathlon kind of a sport. You spend maximum time in your bike. So the primary focus now is, putting in those watts out there, making sure I'm able to strengthen my bike leg better. So I almost have 4 sessions of bike.
Oh,
This second wave is more on focusing on my bike leg. So I have 4 sessions of bike. I have 3 sessions of strength and conditioning in a week, and also I have more of less endurance, or I would say less intense runs. There are shorter distances, not doing much of intervals now because of a lot of people keep saying and sharing a lot of information, so didn't want to risk out there. And I'm one of the few lucky people who have a running track of about 2 kilometers, which is absolutely isolated, and I can just keep running there. I'm not going to have anybody come in contact or anything of that sort. But for major of my trainees or major of my friends out there who don't have the luxury, so I ask them to do indoor activities, indoor workouts like climbing the stairs, just to keep that leg rolling. Obviously, I mean, you being a coach, you know how your muscle memory is. It's not that you're going to lose your muscle memory after not training for 3 4 months. It's definitely going to be there. It's just that you need to brush it up a little. So overall, I would say not to panic about the whole situation, but just keep the legs rolling. Make sure your heart rates are in. Always keep a tab on your heart rate. Don't do too much of an intense workout at this point of time. Focus on your family. Focus on being with them, and things like that is what I do. I cook a lot these days. Trying to experiment some vegan menus and stuffs like that. Trying to see what all I can turn vegetarian into being a vegan, if starting being sweet or anything. Whichever people say you can't make, you can't have that from a vegan recipe. So I'm trying all that now. So yeah, kind of keeping myself engaged.
so wonderful. I feel so positive just listening to you. See, one point you mentioned about is, keep those legs rolling, keep that, endurance up, keep that. But when we're doing that as athletes, also, though we are all amateurs still, I will still call us an amateur athletes
Absolutely.
and coaches, yes, we do have some amount of stress that comes in during and race, preceding to the race, closer to the race, a week before the race, we have that, right? Now we're
Yeah.
having something called as a reverse stress, where we feel, are we losing our endurance, are we losing our skill, are we losing our speed, as you rightly said. Now, as a coach, what is your advice to many people, or you yourself, have you felt stressed in the first wave, the second wave, and we're yet to see the end of the tunnel, right? So it's taking a little mental, havoc on us, Arti. So how do you handle that situation?
With my personal experience, I think I can be very open and honest here to the public as well. I have definitely gone through that in the first wave. It was because I was speaking up in my training and I was doing extremely well. I had just come off a solid training block and I was hoping to race in April. And things just fell, and I honestly didn't know what I was supposed to do. How should I take it? It was very, very depressing at that point of time. I definitely approached an expert, spoke to my coaches, asked how the situation needs to be handled. I think the more you start opening up and talking to people, I think that by itself will kind of give way, because you probably are looking at it only from your perspective, and somebody else could actually give you a third dimension. And for me, it really worked. So for me, my coach said, okay, what are we going to do now? Yes, we have a build up. We have done what needs to be done. Now the races are not going to happen. So how do we, use this as an opportunity for us to better ourselves? So that was another perspective that I actually thought about. I was only focusing on, okay, have I done this workout today? Have I clocked my mileages for this week today? Have I put those watts out there on my cycling, and have I gone to my swim sessions, and have I clocked those sub 2 minutes for 100 meters, and things like that was the primary focus, because you're so race specifically training.
Yes,
And
yes,
when you have the whole 24 hours for yourself, and you don't know what you're up against, and a lot of things are very uncertain, it definitely kind of takes a toll. I think for me the best part was accepting it. It took me some time to accept say, okay, this is what the reality is. That's the reason I'm able to approach the second wave with a very positive note. Not like others who call and talk to me, my trainees call and talk to me, because I had a race this August, I had a race this October. So I know it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to panic and vent it out and say, okay, what am I going to do? But instead, how can I put this time effectively? And that's the primary focus for me. How do I build my strength? What are all the technicalities that I need to improve upon? There are so many science behind everything. I mean, sports as such implies complex science into it. There's a lot of chemistry involved, there's a lot of biology involved in it, there's a lot of physics involved in it. So how can I improve on the technique side of it? So that's what I'm focusing now, and that is going to help me improve my sport better and my performance better.
Wonderful. That's such a lovely takeaway, right? To reach for help, acknowledge that things are different, right? And I loved your approach of you reaching out to your coaches and asking, is it okay to be anxious? Is it okay to feel stressed? And then how do you accept the situation? May is a month of mental awareness, and we accepting and acknowledging that we can reach out for help when we are mentally strained. So all the viewers who have just joined in, I have Aarathi Swaminathan with me, and she has just completed her latest. Her Ironman has been in Australia with her magic number 14 hours 44. Congratulations again, Aarathi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You want to take us through that lighter moment? I wouldn't say lighter. I would say that moment of training for 1444. What was that like?
I think it's a dream for me because I've always been an athlete all my life, spent 16 years into track and field and taking a break for about 10 years to focus on career and things. So for me, Ironman was everything. And I got back to sports in 2016. And the big picture was already set in when I got back into sports, saying that, okay, that's what I want to achieve, because everybody says it's not possible. And not many women from India at that point of time had actually conquered this kind of a distance. So that was primary the goal for me. I'm glad I was able to achieve it in 2019 after a lot of battle in 2018 with injuries and things like that. It was a roller coaster ride, but I'm someone who's always stayed very focused and very positive about whatever I want to achieve in life, and that kind of put me there, holding the Indian flag and crossing the finish line in Western Australia with a proud time of 14 hours 44 minutes.
Wonderful. Congratulations again. That behind you, we can see a few of the medals there. Is
Oh
that
yes.
one of them?
Not really. The other side.
Other side. Nice. Wonderful. So coming back to the current situation, and you spoke to us about how you have now worked on skills, and saying, hey, there's so much of biomechanics that we can work on in the comfort of our home, stay safe. Picking up a shorter loop of 2 kilometers, I think that's a great one, where you can at least keep and do some amount of running, right? That is done. Now I want to address the other aspects of training, which is nutrition and sleep. Okay, so have you faced sleep issues in the recent past because of these unprecedented timings, and you're not able to give your best? How did you do that? How did you combat that?
Okay, for me, sleep is the best recovery. I mean, I think any triathlete would, or any endurance sport athlete will agree upon the point that, sleep is primarily the best form of recovery. And earlier, I never had a challenge, but when I was with a full time job, yes, sleep was something that I've always had a challenge. I could never sleep more than 6 hours because of my working times, the amount of training that I was doing. So, this lockdown kind of helped me to get that 8 hours or 10 hours of sleep, and that was the best part of the initial stages of lockdown and getting used to the whole thing. But lately, because of the second wave, and I've been constantly getting calls from family, friends asking for some help or the other, whether I could put, I mean, get some leads to a oxygen bed or something of that sort. So lately, I've been missing on my sleep a bit, but hopefully once things kind of settle down, because now more than my sleep, it's listening to them, answering those calls looks more priority to me at this point of time, because some loved one is expecting an answer from somebody. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'm taking a little hit on my sleep at this point of time. But nevertheless, there's always time for everything. I strongly believe in that. And once things are settled down, I'm sure I can get back to my original form and fitness.
Wonderful, wonderful, Adi. Now, just take us through your vegan journey of discovering cooking. You said you're trying to turn everything vegetarian into vegan. What have you been your recent experiments with vegan food?
I'm looking at making rasamalai in vegan form. That's my that's my biggest goal now. Just trying to see if something can be done. So just working with a few friends out here who are again vegan and trying to figure out what is the best closest alternative I can get. So in the process of experimenting it, hopefully sometime end of this week I might put out a post saying okay, it is possible. So yeah, that's something that I'm currently working on. But yeah, my vegan journey was more for a lost friend. I mean, I turned vegan in 2018 in memory of a lost friend, and it was her dream to be the first vegan Ironman. It was, I mean, I was just living her dream. That's about it. I can't take full credit for that title that I hold now. I think I truly, own it to Anu for pushing me, for giving me the strength to do that. When I mean, there were a lot of people who were against it, said you're going to go crazy. It's going to have take a toll on your body. It's not right. I've definitely had a lot of hurdles. I had B12 issues. I have my immune system taking a toll on that. Landed up with a lot of injuries because I was clueless. I just I mean, on her last breath, I said, okay, on the 18th of March, I said, okay, I'm turning vegan. And that's about it. And didn't know much knowledge. So I started talking to a lot of professional athletes from the triathlon fraternity. Also spoke to a lot of vegan based nutritionists to understand what is that I need to really focus on, because as everybody knows, for an endurance athlete, nutrition plays a very important role. So you can't just like that take it for granted. And when you try something absolutely new which is out of your comfort zone, or when your family is not aware what they need to cook for you, but yeah, it was a great journey, and I'm glad that I sticked on. And now I've taken it more as a lifestyle than as a diet or a meal plan. I'm looking more as a lifestyle now, especially after going through whatever I went through, and I've genuinely seen a good improvement in my performance as well. So yeah, that's my vegan journey.
Wonderful, wonderful. Slightly we'll shift gears from the athlete Aarti to the coach Aarti.
Okay.
Okay. And have you addressed issues of mental wellness at this moment with your mentees? Have people come with anxiety, stress, especially with not able to perform their best, not able to train their best? I'm sure, as you said, everybody wanted to do a race this year. We thought, we had, we've won the COVID, or
Yeah.
we want to now go out there, race. We want to train. So, how have you dealt as a coach with your mentees?
A good question. Recently, I had a personal experience with one of my trainees when she called up and said, "Ati, I'm not able to focus on my training because there are a lot of things that is happening." So all I told her is, you have your handful. Only this is how much you can hold. You can't expect to hold too much, and it's going to overflow. So open your hand and see what you can hold and what you can control, and that's all you need to bother about. So what is your immediate focus? It's your family. Do you spend quality time with them? Do you give your kids that quality time when they come and ask you for something? Or what are you doing to make yourself happy other than the train part of it? Okay, you sometimes what happens is trainees start saying, okay, what will my coach think if I don't do this workout right today? There's a lot of pressure on them. I said, I'm not bothered if you don't perform. It's okay, there's always another day. It's not that it's end of the world. We are not NASA scientists, or we are not actually developing COVID. And why? I mean, we're not developing vaccinations here to save a life. So let's be more practical, is what I keep telling them. And I also suggest them to do something that they love, apart from the training part of it, apart from what they generally do. Spend about 30 minutes to do something that they like more than anything else. It's just that somebody says they love to meditate. I don't have the time. I said, okay, shut the door, get into the bathroom, shut the door, sit and just meditate. That's about it. You don't need a space. You don't need to sit in front of God to meditate. And somebody recently said he wants to improve his handwriting. So I said, go take an online course, and I'm working on improve my own handwriting. I've signed up for an online program. So do something that you have never done and keep your mind occupied more than anything else. And if you don't train, it's that, trust me, you're not going to lose anything. Just start training for 1 month, 2 months. You're not going to lose anything. Your muscle memory is definitely going to be there. Yes, there will be a little dusting that you need to do when you get back, but I am sure with the focus and the effort that you're going to put in towards, the bigger goal, the bigger picture, I think that's more important than just talking about, okay, I'm not able to do something now. Let's look at the bigger picture, and which is 6 months from now, how things are going to be, and not crib about the current situation.
That's wonderful. I like the coach in you who says, pick up another skill that you will not be able to pick up, right? That is
Absolutely.
that is absolutely gorgeous, because that not everybody would say that. So I mean, so all your mentees are privileged then with handling, having a coach to say, hey, it's okay, cool down, we will have our time back. On that
Absolutely.
note, yeah, on that note, so at this point, what we are looking at is more of sustainability, right? For our mentees. Yes, the coming back is not going to be as easy. You probably have been peaking some event, or you were practicing for some event. As you rightly said, now we need to dust off when we plan to come back. At the same time, keeping up with, especially triathlon is such an endurance sport, right? You have all the three which need endurance, and right now the water is cut off, no water. Okay, and running outside is not very safe. And even if you run, you probably run on your street all alone, a few shorter loops. Okay, so what would your typical strength training routine for your mentees be to keep them going? What do you suggest for them?
So for my trainees, I mean, I give them the strength workouts myself. So I make sure there is a focus on overall conditioning on one day, and there's one day specific to core, workouts, and one day is basically upper body or leg. So 3 days is a mandatory strength training is what I generally recommend to all my trainees. And if somebody has the luxury and tells me that, add one more, if he or she's a triathlete, then kind of put in some dry land swim workouts as well for them. So to just make sure the swim muscles are intact, and you don't lose, because generally what happens is when you're a triathlete, you still cycle and run to a certain extent. At least you climb stairs, you walk inside your house, you do loops inside your house and things like that. But the upper body activation is much lesser. You don't lift things and do stuffs, when you're idle, other than when you go out for the swim. So I give them, every fortnightly, I give them dry land swim workouts, which they just use their resistant bands. Sometimes I go crazy. I put a bucket of water, put my goggles, just to give me the effect of I'm swimming inside a pool, and just wear those things and keep doing my dry land workout, just to give me a pep, saying that, okay, I'm still swimming, but it's still a bucket of water. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I must try that. I have a bathtub and I have swimming goggles, and I must try that. Thanks
You
for that.
should.
Thanks. Wonderful. Arti, once things open up and once we're back to the new normal, what are the races that are lined up for you? What are you going to take us?
Definitely, the big goal is to qualify for the World Championship 70.3. That's definitely, it was just there. I just missed it the last two times. I was expecting number three would be lucky for me, but unfortunately, the last 2 years, I mean, last year and this year, it doesn't look like I'm going to have a race. I don't see anything happening till October, November. So it's a little disappointing. I would say rather, it's very disappointing that I've been really working hard on myself to qualify for a World Championship 70.3. I guess I have to put it that to 2022. Fingers crossed. Hope I qualify in the first half, because the race is in September. So I'll have to kind of, put all out. I can't even put first gear, second gear. I need to kind of come all out from a third gear or the fourth gear and kind of push it. So that's the reason I'm currently building on the foundation to make sure when I have accessibility to come out, I don't land up having an injury because I know I need to rush up. I know I'm against time in terms of qualifying. That's people could ask, why are you putting so much of pressure to yourself? But yeah, it's a fun pressure, so I'm kind of enjoying it.
Nice. We wish you all the best for the races whenever it's going to happen. And trust me, the entire team of Fast Enough is going to cheer you whenever it happens. Okay. So, coming back to that point of mental wellness and the fatigue, the mental fatigue that athletes face. Okay. Because right now we don't know, we can't see the, as I said, at the the light of the tunnel is not being seen there. Okay. I want you to give our listeners out here today few tips on how we can combat this.
Uh, Personally, I'm no one to advise anyone here, but something that I personally am following now is read good stuffs. Try to reduce your screen time, especially listening to news channels, media. It's important to understand what's happening, but you don't have to get so involved in that and stress out that somebody did something and you really get worked out about it. There is only so much as individual we can handle. We need to take care of our loved ones, dear ones, whoever are close. Like I have very old parents, so I need to be sensible. I cannot just go out, do whatever I want, and come back and expose them to uncertainties. So you need to be a little more sensible in what you're doing. You have elderly parents, you have kids, you have relatives staying with you, your neighbors. So now, I mean, the situation is so uncontrollable at this point of time. All we can do is to stay indoors, keep our mind and body active as much as we can. My humble request would be to all the audiences: just pick up a phone. You have 5 minutes of your time. Just call someone whom you wanted to talk. I am in touch with my 10th standard and 5th standard friends, and I got a call a couple of days back, a friend calling and saying, okay, I am panicking, what do I do? Just say it's fine. Just give them some positive words. I think more people have to look at it more positively than, because I know it's panicking. I know it's very uncertain. You don't know. Constantly you're looking into your oxygen meter and seeing whether it is right, wrong, whether it is going down, it is going up. I understand all of that, but it's always good to call someone and just check if he or she is doing fine. This is a good opportunity to connect. You can connect through Facebook, you can connect through social media, you can use all these platforms in a good way to help somebody out. Ask someone if he or she has lost a job. Maybe they are not telling us. They must be going through a lot of financial crisis, so we really don't know. We don't even know if they've got one meal a day. So just call them up and check if they need some kind of support. You can't probably support them 100%, but a group of friends together can pull in a little money and give it to that person. Maybe that's the biggest thing that person needs at this point of time. So there is a lot of things that we can do sitting at the comfort of the home. There are so many forwards that we get. How long does it going to take to just call up that number, just have a validation saying that, okay, is it genuine, are these people genuine, and just pass it on, or put a star and keep it ready. If somebody needs it, pass it on, say, okay, I have verified it, this information is true, go ahead and use it. So at this point of time, I think this is all we can do in a positive way. And eat healthy. Make sure you have a very balanced meal. Make sure your immune systems are intact. That's the only thing that we can focus on. Eat a lot of green vegetables. If you are somebody who takes supplements, take multivitamins. There is nothing wrong. If you're not someone who like to take multivitamins, then look at taking a lot of fruits, vitamin C. Go stand out in the sun. You get your natural form of vitamin D. You don't have to do any activity. Just go to the terrace and stand. That's about it. So start involving your family into a lot of activities, conversations. Go sit with them, watch TV. So these are some things, overall you can do for yourself and for people around you. I think this is what something I've been wanting to share it with all of you.
Wonderful. That is so good to hear. You summed it up so well, right? That's very nice to hear from that. And as we started this conversation, Aarti, we spoke about athletes being the best with their resilience. Okay, we learn from our bad days. We say that we need a bad day for that super good day to happen. We need
Absolutely.
we are not shy from failing. We know that only if we fail we will bounce back. Okay, and that's a great trait of an athlete, and that's where we pick up, and that's why we are so disciplined, so hardworking, and at the same time we're ready to take it head on. Okay, thank you so much for your time today. It was such a pleasure chatting with you, talking to you, interacting with you, and thank you for sharing so much of positivity today with us and our viewers. And if
Pleasure
there's
is all
anything
mine.
else that you want to share with us, I think we're having
If there's any
some.
questions, if somebody have, I'm more than happy to answer. So
Okay.
if there's any questions or anything that somebody wants to, I mean, I'm always available on social media. They can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
Always active, very much active there.
I think there is a question that's come on a pre-workout, a good product that is safe for long runs. A pre-workout is, I think that's one question that's I can see on my screen.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it depends on what sport you're doing and what kind of a workout it is. I mean, nutrition as such is an ocean. So I generally, I mean, I'll tell you what I follow. So generally, when I have long brick workouts, which is minimum of 5 hours and goes up to 7, 8 hours. So depending on that, I have a smoothie. I have my own pre-drink that I make it and keep it the previous day night, and I get up about 2 hours earlier, have that, and then crash again, and then get up 1 hour before my training program. So that's something that's worked very well for me, with the combination of, a mix of, I mean, obviously more carb based drink with less protein in it, but which can sustain for the next 3 4 hours of my workout. If it is a shorter intervals, I'm someone, I mean, I'm not against supplements. It's not that I don't take them, I definitely do. But for me, more of simple, easy, digestible stuff, because I have a gut issue. So I make sure I don't have anything very heavy the previous day night. I want to have my stomach absolutely light when I start a workout, especially sitting in your aero bar in your bike workout and your tummy making a noise is the least thing that you want to hear, on a training day. So keep it simple, keep it light. A lot of fastener products are there, and you can use any of them in terms of your pre-drinks and thing. I'm sure you'll be a better person to talk in terms of the product from Fasten Up, more than me. You have more expertise on that.
No, but I am a big fan of smoothies, and I
Okay.
think they're so wholesome. They they make you feel good. I've had something nice, especially when you
Absolutely.
add it with nut butter. Yes, the recent Fasten Up vegan protein powder with that's one of my favorites. I love the flavor.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love the flavor of that. Yes. Okay, if yes, as Aarti said, if there are questions, we would love to answer them for you. I have with me Aarti Swaminathan, who with her magical number 1444. Yes, every time I say 1444, there's a big smile on Aarti's face. That's
Yeah, because
wonderful.
it was just, I mean, even the seconds were matching. It was like 14, 44, 44. I'm like, okay. So, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
that is
somebody
one.
put a question there. Doing only strength training will help in being fit. Uh, See, I know we all stress eat a lot because you're at home. The food is accessible. Earlier, we used to go to our workplace, so we never used to have the access to food. I think mindful eating is also equally important. What you eat, because for me, if you look at my meal plan, I almost have 6 meals a day. People must be thinking I'm crazy, but I split my meal. I make sure I have in between meals, and there is only certain amount your body can take in and digest. For an example, a protein intake can be only about 10 to 12 grams. That's how much your body can take and digest at that one given point of time. So if your weight is 60, you need to take in so much of grams of protein per day. you cannot swallow it one shot. It's only going to affect your kidney. I mean, you're going to I wouldn't say affect your kidney, but it's only going to be an overload of, your kidney's function, and it's going to go in the drain, which is for no use. So instead, split your meal in such a way that you have a balanced meal. Have, a healthy and a heavy breakfast. If you are somebody like me who has a gut issue, then make sure you have a very light dinner, so that you feel good the next day morning for your workout or for your strength training. So eat a little more sensible. We are very accessible to all these fried items these days. You just go to the kitchen and your wife or your mom is preparing something and you're just so tempted to eat. I would still say eat, but just watch out how many calories you're taking in. That's more important. There are a lot of people, they come and say, I have only dry fruits. I'm like, okay, so raisins have how much of calories do you even know? I'm like, oh yeah. So you need to be a little more thoughtful about what you're eating. Look at your plate. It needs to be colorful. That's something that I've learned from a fellow triathlete, that your plate needs to be colorful. So it has a combination of everything: protein, carbohydrates, fibers, minerals, micronutrients. So I think that will be the ideal approach for you.
Okay, so we have Anupama who asks us, do you focus on VO2 max? How do
Uh,
you improve it?
Definitely yes, but not at this point of time. I have only one heart and I would like to keep safe. So, not at this point of time. I'm definitely not training any of my VO2 max run workouts, especially. I do a lot of short bike workouts, which is more VO2 max pertaining, but only one session a week, and it is not more than 45 minutes. I make sure it's quick, it's short intervals, with a longer recovery is what I do in terms of my bike intervals. Run, definitely a no at this point of time. I'm sure you can add more, Deepa, on this.
Absolutely. But let's say if it is a non-COVID day, okay, or a non-lockdown day, not a COVID, non-lockdown day, how do you train or focus on your VO2 max? I think that's what Anupama is trying to ask you.
Okay. So for me, I definitely have one VO2 max workout, one fortnightly, not on a weekly basis. My focus is more on race specific, so more tempos. So I'm a strong believer, and so does my coach. We are a believer of 80-20 concept, which is 80% building the endurance and 20% is intense workout, whether it is your swim, your bike, or your run. So that's how my training plan has always been. So the primary focus is to build a very, very strong foundation, more than anything else. You can always build speed. A lot of people come and ask me. I've been a victim of that, because to unlearn a sprinter and get into endurance sport was the challenging part for me. The first 2 years into sports, I mean 2 years in coming back to triathlon. So yeah, I would say fortnightly a good VO2 max interval is good. Definitely not every alternate day. You can kind of mix it up with tempo runs, which is more race specific pace or speed, and then have more long, I wouldn't say easy runs, but long aerobic runs. And you can also mix it up with a lot of small surges at the end of it to see how your legs are. Especially when you see the finish line, you just want to sprint and just check whether your legs are okay to sprint that last few 100 meters of 500 meters, and you see the finish line and you see everybody clapping, the music being played. So yeah, you can do a little of surges after, do a mixture of, when you're especially doing a long runs. See, you can mix it up with a little tempo in between, little surges towards the end, just to give that twist and a turn and a little tweak, instead of just doing 20 kilometers of easy aerobic runs, or 32 kilometers of easy aerobic runs. Just give a little twist and make it interesting. In terms of
Perfect.
improving your VO2 max, I think just stick on to your coach's training plan. You will automatically see the result. This is something all my trainees keep asking me, in just joining in with 4 weeks, 8 weeks. They're like, Aarti, I don't see an improvement in my VO2 max. When will that happen? I said, stick on, believe in the training plan, believe in your coach. I think they know things better. That's the reason they are coaches. So I strongly believe in that. I don't go and ask my coach, why have you given me this instead of that? Somebody else is training, a different schedule. Why am I not doing that? So I think as coaches, we kind of know a little bit about what we are doing, and it's again very personalized for an individual person. So just stick on to the training plan, and trust me, you will see the results.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that information. From one triathlete to the other, from one coach to another. Of course, I'm not vegan, but yes, I enjoy vegan food as well. I just love food, just like you. This has been such a pleasant journey, pleasant time talking to you, especially since we are addressing and taking it heads on that all of us are going through mental issues during this time, uncertainty. Also, as athletes, we're not able to do our best. We're not able to train our best. We do not know when we are going to race again. We may have signed up for something, we had to cancel out. We don't know when we are going to travel, especially with triathletes and so much of training that we need to undergo. We also don't know that when to restart training. As you rightly said, no gear 1 2, we're going to shift directly to gear 3, right? It was such a pleasure having you, Aarti. I think I have a few thank you messages that are coming on the screen for you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. It's actually really nice to catch up with somebody that I've been admiring for a really long time. I've been a follower of you in Instagram, and I've always admire your ultra runs and your workouts that you share. Amazing. Spread a lot of positive energy. That's all we can do at this point of time, and just stay safe, stay home. We'll all going to come out of this even stronger. So take care, guys. Cheers.
Thank you so much again, Aarti, and look forward to seeing you at some tri event quickly.
Absolutely. Looking
Bye
forward.
bye. Bye
Take
for
care.
now.